currently logged in and watching. We're actually going to test real quick, so give us 1 sec. Still getting set up, kind of putting our little mock prototype together. So we are a little bit behind schedule. Sorry about that. We're going to do a quick test, and then we'll start talking to you guys and telling you what's up. But thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
I may mind chatting, actually. I don't have my speech prepared this afternoon, so... But I'll see what I can do. I'm actually just adjusting the camera so it has a better angle on the playmat. So... And finishing off writing out these cards.
Alright, we're good. We're live.
Live. It's alive.
It's alive.
Jinx, you owe me a root beer.
Oh, damn it. Did we adjust the camera? No.
I did. I just said that.
Oh.
I just spent a few minutes.
But it's all off center.
Well, but it's straight at the bottom. At this end, it's straight. So I'm not sure how you would like me to fix that.
I don't know.
Okay. The only thing we can do is raise it up higher.
Nah, that's... And then people wouldn't be able to read stuff. As it is, they might have trouble with it.
Exactly.
So you have to forgive us as we try to figure out our setup, but...
We could make it so that this part is straight. This part will be skewed.
That's fine with me.
Okay. If that's the case, then I do this. Like that.
There we go. That's fine. Hopefully our viewers at home are okay with things being slightly skewed. It's going to happen regardless, so...
Well, if it has anything to do with us, it's already slightly skewed, so...
That's a good point.
Okay.
So, we're getting
Are you
our...
sitting on that side, or am I sitting on that side?
Which side would you prefer
That's
to sit
fine,
on?
I'll sit on this side.
Okay, let me take my notebook so I can make notes.
Let me take my pillow.
And then, out of the red box, would you mind grabbing a couple player mats for me? Thank you. There's your watcher.
And my snacks.
Oh, and your snacks. It's important for every game session to have snacks involved. So, this is a playtest of the Dimensional Pocket. It's an expansion setting for Villains and Henchmen. For those of you who... I don't want to do that. For those of you who already know how the game works, thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate it. For those of you who don't, we'll be giving a quick overview on the rules and such. Don't worry, it won't go too long. It'll be just a quick overview. But the general concept behind Villains and Henchmen is you are a group of comic book bad guys who are working together to break a fellow supervillain out of maximum security prison. You do that by buying superpowers and using them to beat up the heroes, guards, and obstacles that are standing in your way. So it's a mostly cooperative game in that you have to work together to defeat the prison. But there is a slight competitive element where you basically can try to acquire the most villain points, thematically named victory points, basically, which you gain by beating up heroes and guards. So at the end of the game, if you've successfully defeated the prison, whoever has the most villain points gets to claim bragging rights as the villain, and everybody else was just their henchman. So that's where the name Villains and Henchmen comes in. Now, in addition to playtesting the setting that we're doing, we're also playtesting a few new obstacles and heroes, and a few new powers, some of which are inherent to the Dimensional Pocket setting that we're testing, and others that are just additional expansion stuff. We figured if we were doing a playtest, why not test all of it? Well, not all of it, but test a few different components at the same time. So we'll be taking notes as we go, and if you have questions, you're welcome to ask. Hey, sweet. Thank you, Monster Mochi. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, thank you. I don't want to be using that to take notes, do I? That's not going to work out well. All right, so
Even before we begin, though, just a quick introduction, because I don't sit in on these streams.
Oh, that's a good point.
So, hi, everyone. My name is Sarah. I am one of the halves of Ravensdale Publishing, and you may also know me by Cash or Cashera.
See, I just went directly into the standard convention spiel. I didn't introduce myself either. So for those of you who don't know me, hello, my name is Ben, and I am the other half of Ravensdale Publishing. So Villains and Henchmen is the brainchild of Sarah and I, so we're excited to show it to you. But I think we're still kind of sort of setting up. So let's do a little bit of that. Now, before I get too far into it, like I said, we're testing one of the expansion settings called the Dimensional Pocket. And you'll have to forgive me for holding these up. We're going to try this out. A little closer. One of them is closer than the other. There we go. We're terrible at this. Well, I'm terrible at this. So the Dimensional Pocket is basically an interdimensional prison where the supervillain has been shunted by the heroes. And so we're trying to break into this, getting through the different wards and magical barriers that are in the way so that we can break the supervillain out. The setup for this, for 1 or 2 players, is we need 1 random hero, 0 guards, and 1 of the Mystic Ward's obstacles. Now, right away, I'm pretty sure that'll be a little bit light, but I could be wrong. So we're going to test it as is, and we'll see how it goes. In a 3 or 4 player game, it would be 2 random heroes, an extra random obstacle, and the Mystic Ward's obstacle. So that would be much tougher. But we'll go from there. And then the special rules. Anytime the Mystic Ward's obstacle, which we have out on the table, and I'll explain in a second, makes us discard a Power Surge card, it goes to the defeat pile, which is going to be right up here next to the setting cards. And if we get to 8 Power Surges in the defeat pile, we lose, basically representing the mystical barriers powering up and doing whatever terrible things they do to villains who trespass upon them. In order to win, we have to take 1 of 2 different heroes hostage, either the Arcane Master, which is a new hero added to the deck specifically for this setting, or the Psychic. They're very thematic. Arcane Master and the Psychic kind of fit in with the whole mystical Wuji thing. And then we also need any combination of 5 of the following cards, and they're all powers. So, Psionic Ability, Elemental Control, Sorcery, or Teleportation. Again, thematic. Psionic Ability gives you the ability to look into other dimensions and things like that. Elemental Control, the 4 elements feature prominently in a lot of pop culture spells and whatnot. Sorcery, because of course, and Teleportation, because that is often depicted as traveling between 2 places by way of an alternate dimension. So, thematic powers will give us the ability to get into the Dimensional Pocket and then back out, is the concept. So, we'll go over those again later when they become relevant, but for now, we're going to put those up here in the little settings space. Now, the Mystic Ward's obstacle, these guys are new for this particular setting, and they're kind of nasty because their reaction ability, that's the purple R down at the bottom, that's out of focus, I think. Oh, sorry. Basically says we discard the first Power Surge card we play each turn without applying its effects. So they're going to siphon away our Power Surges and make it more difficult for us to purchase powers, more difficult for us to activate powers. And so, yeah, that could be a serious problem.
I'm actually kind of concerned about that because I feel we already have a really good ratio of power surges to other items. I think we're going to have a shortage of power surges right from the get-go.
Absolutely. So what she's saying is that in the villain deck, which hosts all of our... someone just said something, and sadly I cannot see it. We might have to fix that.
Sure. Let me do some techie something.
So you can see under sources, the list of sources, that's got the chat box at the very top. It's on the kind of on the left. The list of sources, chat box is at the very top.
Mm-hmm.
If you right click on it and go to properties, I believe.
Ooh. Come now.
I don't know how to change the font is the problem.
Yeah.
So while Sarah tries to solve that little issue, as I was saying, the villain deck is the deck that has the resource cards, basically the cards we're going to use to interact with the game. And they consist of attack, defense, and power surge cards. We'll talk about what those are here in a minute. But basically, the power surge cards are the currency for buying powers and such.
Our awesome social media guru, Rebecca, is going to change our font for us.
Oh.
Help us out.
Thank you, Rebecca. Sorry.
It doesn't look like it's actually coming from OBS. It must be something else. So Stay tuned while we get that.
I thought I fixed it ahead of time, but clearly I did something wrong. So it's a 40-card deck for the villain deck, and only 12 of those cards are power surges. So any effect that puts our power surges out of circulation is actually going to really hinder us in our ability to gain traction. So we have to figure out how we're going to overcome those Mystic Wards in order to succeed. So we'll see what happens. In addition to that, we actually have 9 different superheroes that we've added to the hero deck because we wanted to try these guys out. So we have the Super Scientist, the Arcane Master, the Martial Artist, the Ninja, the Mentor, the Time Traveler, the Sidekick, and the Metamorph. So we're adding 9 different heroes into the superhero deck. So it went from 15 to 24 heroes. It'll add a lot more variety, and I'll be interested to see how these guys are going to work. But as you can see, we've got them all printed out just on regular paper. So what we're doing is we've got some cards in the hero deck that have the hero deck back, so we don't know what we're about to draw. But on the front, they're marked with whatever they're a stand-in for. So when those get drawn, we'll be able to bring those heroes into play and kind of see what they do. I'm mixing my cards up here. So this is one of the fun parts of board game design, in my opinion, is kind of doing the play test to figure out if those initial concepts that you had actually work, or if they are going to destroy things and you need to completely revamp them. So hopefully they'll work, and they just need a little bit of tweaking.
It's very awkward to look at. Pardon me while I continue to work on this.
We're shuffling things around a little. And then in addition to that, the last thing, well, not the last actually, one of the other things we've added is we've added 4 new superpowers. So we've added regeneration, power augmentation, reality warping, and sorcery. Reality warping and sorcery come with the dimensional pocket expansion. They're kind of built in. And the regeneration and power augmentation are additional powers, kind of standalone, that we wanted to put in the decks and see how they work. So those will also come up. They're also marked with stand-in cards in their respective power decks. And then finally, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to test out 2 completely new archetypes. So we've got the Dark Sorcerer and the Tech Savant. The Dark Sorcerer can use villain points in a way that other players can't. And the Tech Savant, when they defeat obstacles, they can actually use powers that are in the power tracks rather than one of the powers they've purchased. Basically, they repurpose the components of the obstacle into some kind of high-tech gadget that they can use once. So those are some cool archetypes. I'm looking forward to seeing them in action, and hopefully it'll all work out for the best. Babe, do you have a preference between the Tech Savant and the Dark Sorcerer?